describing racists. What that does is, and it's what's happened with a lot of organisations, is there's a fear amongst people on the left to accuse working class white communities of being racist and of reporting them to the Gardaí as a result. I think that's a massive problem, because the majority of racism that asylum seekers and immigrants, me myself, I'm half Irish, half Pakistani, I've been here all my life, but the majority of racism that I have received, I've seen institutionalized racism, you see it, you see the latent hidden racism, but the majority that I've seen has been coming from the common Irish man. And while that's not fascism, you have to challenge it there. Because if you don't challenge it there, it's going to burgeon and become, it will eventually blossom into organised fascism. And I know we don't have an organised fascist network here in Ireland, but we do have small groups who are peddling ridiculous ideals and are pushing it as much as they can. Now, of course, people say it's just two men and a dog, but at the end of the day, it's happened. These small groups are existing, they're around, and they're getting speakers into universities. They're speaking at progressive things like claiming our future and stuff like that. It's been noted that these people are popping up and they're speaking and they're pushing racist ideals, and they're going to school, now that they're going to schools and pushing racist programs. I think that's the type of thing that needs to be talked about here. And we should not be scared on the left if you see a working class family who are struggling and who decide to accuse, I call it horizontal blame. It's where we, instead of blaming those technically above us, let's say the government, the IMF, we tend to blame those beside us, as in those less fortunate than us, like immigrants, asylum seekers, travellers, just, you know, communities who are not, let's say, a part of the homogenous whole. And we should not be scared to go up and say, you know, challenge them straight up with aggression sometimes, and say that type of thinking should not be allowed. Because the only way you're going to build solidarity there is by challenging that straight up. Because in Galway, where I'm from, the taxi industry is split halfway between Irish drivers and African drivers. And what you're seeing is the African drivers on a daily basis are getting racial abuse from students, mostly. Students, meant to be the most educated part of Galway society. Students, and I say this is just them, I said no, it's actually all sections of Irish society. Of all ages, of all backgrounds, working class, sort of class. And I said, what's the problem there? And I said, no one's doing anything about it. They said, no one is talking about this at all. They don't care. And then we have instances in centres for asylum seekers and refugees where protests are happening, organised by the asylum seekers themselves. I went out to meet them and talk to them. I said, no one really cares about what's happening here. I said, what are you protesting about? I said, it's the basic conditions that we're living in. And about the fact that security guards who are working at the doors of these centres are racist. One of them has threatened my life because I went to the centre and I reported him and he lost his job. He was kicked out. And I had no problem. I know for himself, he's a working class lad, that was his only job. I didn't give a damn. I went straight to the centre and said, he's a racist prick, he doesn't deserve to have his job, get rid of him. And one of the demands the asylum seekers put down in the centre was that we will not stop causing trouble unless that man loses his job, and he's lost his job. Unfortunately, he's on the dole now, but that's it. He was a racist, he has no right to be there. I think that's how hard you have to be when it comes to that, because you see what happens in Norway there, that when the far right, when they actually do get properly organised, they have no logic. They don't think about it. They will go to the furthest extreme to bring about their ideals, which is the massacring of people. And in England, you'll see it with the EDL and with the BNP. They will quite regularly go into communities, and back before we've seen the nail bombings in the 90s, the 80s and the 90s, if they thought they could get away with it again, they would. And over here they would too. That's what a fascist is. I think there's no point being soft about it. The only thing to do with fascists is to smash them wherever they go, wherever they are. And when we've seen that with Nick Griffin in Trinity College, when I first seen it happen, the first thing I thought in my head was, yes, we should build up a huge amount of trade unions, we should build up huge support from university lecturers, but ultimately, if you really want to stop it, is to smash his supporters and smash the people who are inviting him down as well.